is enough said.
What's up, Heat Nation? Happy Taco Tuesday. Your boy Ernest here. Back with another Miami Heat Talk video. Would really appreciate it if you guys could like the video, subscribe to the channel. You know the drill. Now let's get ready to rock and roll on another Miami Heat Talk adventure, because I feel like I got a good one for you today. But before we get to today's topic, I want to send a big thank you to Ethan Skolnick with the 5 Reasons Sports. Also, Will Manzo with Channel 10. Recently, the boys from the Miami Heat Roundtable and myself, we did some podcasts with them last few days. It was incredible episodes. Really appreciate the both of the guys stopping by. We do got some more guests coming for you guys. Also appreciate Team to Beat Miami Heat. Don't forget to like and subscribe to his channel. Also, Miami Heat Zone Podcast. We're there with Martell and my boy Trent with the Miami Heat Network. Appreciate y'all. Now, on to today's topic. Because I saw a video recently from AM Hoops, and I don't need to plug his channel. I'm sure most people that subscribe to my channel or watch this video know about AM Hoops. He's one of the biggest YouTube NBA platforms out there. He does incredible episodes, excuse me. He has a lot of different topics, but whenever he talks about the Miami Heat, I like to give it a closer listen. And he actually did a recent episode about Jimmy Butler. And this one sparked my attention for a few reasons. Now, for those of you that didn't watch the video, he basically talked about the recent rumor from the New York Post talking about how Jimmy Butler likes the Brooklyn Nets. Now, I did a video on this last week. However, after that, there was more rumors that were coming out, basically stating that Jimmy Butler and his camp likes the Brooklyn Nets, and that Jimmy Butler and his camp wouldn't have a problem possibly going to the Brooklyn Nets. Ethan Skolnick said yesterday in the Miami Heat Roundtable that Bernie Lee and Jimmy Butler's camp were shocked with Pat Riley and the Miami Heat's decision to not offer Jimmy Butler the contract extension. Is there more than what we know? Is there actually an issue with Jimmy Butler and his camp? The fact that the Miami Heat quickly gave Bam Adebayo that 3-year maximum contract extension, but didn't offer it to Jimmy. Was there more when Jimmy Butler said, I'm not going to sign an extension with the Heat or any other team, because he intends to ball out this season and get the bag? Because let's be real, y'all, even though Jimmy Butler is 34 going on to, he just turned 35 years old this month. Just because he's turning 35 or did turn 35 doesn't matter. At his age, players start to decline. But when you see Paul George at 34 get a 4-year, $215 million extension, and you see guys like LeBron James and Kevin Durant playing well into their mid-30s, it causes a little bit of question. Should you really feel this certain type of way about players hitting their mid-30s, knowing with science, modern medicine, the way that people take care of their bodies? Should we be looking at these players differently? With certain players, yes. But the main problem with Jimmy Butler, and only Miami Heat fans truly know about this, you give this man maximum money. You give him the biggest contract that eats up about 30% of your salary. There's 82 games in the regular season. Jimmy Butler plays about 60 to 65 games if you're lucky. In those 60 to 65 games, about half to a quarter of those games, he really tries. A lot of those other games, he coasts. Now, one thing we know about Jimmy Butler is that when it's playoff time and the lights are brightest, he's one of the baddest MFers in the NBA. In my opinion, Jimmy Butler in the playoffs is the very best NBA performer. You can make an argument for other players, but what I saw in recent past on what Jimmy Butler has done has shown me what this guy can do in the playoffs. Now, can he still do it at 35? I still think so. But I think he has maybe a year or two left of this in him because of the way he plays. He's not a Kevin Durant type of player. He's not a silky shooter. He's a guy that gets to the paint, bruises on you, gets the bucket and hits the and one and gets to the free throw line. You can only do that so much until your body breaks down. So, getting back to AM Hoops, he suggested that there is a possibility that Jimmy Butler leaves the Miami Heat for the Brooklyn Nets or possibly even the Houston Rockets. Now, when you first hear this, and like I said, you guys, I talked about this a week ago. If you don't remember, after you're done with this video, go check that one out. I said it on that video as well. It doesn't make any sense. Why would the Brooklyn Nets go after a guy who's giving you that type of effort when they're tanking? They're trying to get Cooper Flag. A lot of teams are going into this season with a tanking mentality because Cooper Flag is supposed to be that once in a generational type of player. That one player you get once every 10 years, apparently. That's yet to be seen. However, one thing that AM Hoops did mention is that the Brooklyn Nets can get Jimmy Butler for cap flexibility because they're going to have about $70 million in cap space next season. So you can actually build around Cooper Flag. You can give Jimmy Butler the maximum contract that he seeks, plays next to Cooper Flag. You can also get other players to build around. It doesn't sound attractive. Brooklyn Nets fans might even think you're going to get Jimmy Butler next to Cooper Flag, but it's a possibility. It's something that can be done. Now, the real true question is, what does Jimmy Butler want? Because he has said in the past that he wants to win a championship. Jimmy Butler has never won a main championship in his basketball playing career. Didn't win in high school, didn't win in college, hasn't won in the NBA. Now, he has won gold medals, yes, but he hasn't won that championship with a team. So Jimmy Butler has said in the past that he wants to win, and he wants to win with the Miami Heat. So the question is, what's more important to Jimmy? Winning with the Heat or securing the bag? Because you've seen him act differently. You've seen him act both ways. The real answer is what Jimmy Butler truly wants. Because after this season, even if he goes nuclear, does the Miami Heat really want to give a 35-year-old a 3 to 4 year extension? I don't know. That's a question for Pat Riley and the Miami Heat. Now, do I actually think that a trade is going to happen with the Brooklyn Nets? No. I think the Miami Heat are going to ride with Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat this season. And I've said this before, y'all, and I'll say it again. I think that fully healthy, Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, Tyler Hero, Terry Rozier leading this team with Jaime Jaquez, Nikola Jovic taking that extra step, Kel'el Ware being that true defensive presence, Duncan Robinson being your elite sniper shooter. You have Kevin Love. You have Josh Richardson coming back. You signed Alec Burks. You brought back Haywood Highsmith. You're a deep team. You got it. You got a team that can contend. It's all about health. It's all about health, and it's all about taking the regular season seriously. Not to be a play-in team. The Miami Heat, in my opinion, can easily be a top 4 team in the Eastern Conference. I understand what everybody is saying with Boston, with New York, with Milwaukee, Indiana, all these teams. I get it. But fact of the matter is, I'm not scared of those teams. In a 7-game series, I'm fully confident that the Miami Heat can defeat any of these teams in the East, Boston included. Have you guys ever heard of something that's called a championship hangover? Jason Tatum got paid. Jaylen Brown got paid. Derek White got paid. Drew Holiday got paid. Porzingis is paid. These guys are paid. They've won. Are they going to have the same motivation? Maybe. Maybe not. But you know who's going to have motivation? This Miami Heat team. This band of dogs that are going to come together in training camp and that are going to fight because they've heard all of the offseason talk. Tyler Hero has heard everyone put him down. Jimmy Butler is hearing that he's washed. Bam Adebayo is hearing that he's not a true number 1 option. Terry Rozier is hearing that his neck injury is ending his career, basically. These guys are going to come in with a chip on their shoulders and they're going to ball out. And that is what we all hope. But you never know. The only way that I agree with AM Hoops on a possible trade is if the Miami Heat suck during the season. Let's say you start 10-20, 10-25. Jimmy's not playing a lot of games. The chemistry's not really working. Then, at that point, I think it would be proponent to move certain players, get out of certain contracts, try to move Jimmy Butler, try to move Tyler Hero, try to get some draft capital back, build around Bam, build around getting a big star next to Bam Adebayo. Now, one thing that AM Hoops mentioned, you guys, that I found a little interesting, it wasn't a Brooklyn Nets trade. I mean, that is a little interesting, but he also mentioned the Houston Rockets. I've mentioned Houston in the past with Jimmy Butler, you guys, and it does make a lot of sense. Houston is in win now mode. They impressed last year. Jimmy Butler's from Texas. They also have no state income tax, like Florida. And one thing about Houston and Brooklyn that does make sense about possible trades, you guys, they have incredible draft capital. I mean, the Brooklyn Nets possibly have 4 first-round picks in 2025. Houston has 2. They have multiple future first-round draft picks that they can attach in a Jimmy Butler trade. So the only way you trade Jimmy Butler is if you suck during the season and if you're getting draft capital back, because the Heat don't really have any. But I'm telling y'all right now, and for the people that are going to be in my comments because they're not going to listen this long, and they're going to say, oh, you're bashing Jimmy Butler. Why would you say trade Jimmy Butler? Just fast forward, listen to this part. I feel in my heart that this team can win a championship. I don't care about Boston. I don't care about New York. I don't care about any of these teams in the East. Fully healthy, Jimmy Butler is any of those teams' daddy. We know what Jimmy Butler does when the lights are brightest. What I challenge Jimmy Butler, the challenge that we all have, do it in the regular season. We don't want you to play 82 games. We know if you do that, you will be blown out. Even though Michael Jordan did that at 35. He played 82 games and won a championship. But let's not get there. Give us 65 games, Jimmy. 65 competitive, good games. That's 17 games you can take off. That is such a terrible thing to ask from a superstar player. But this is our reality. If we get 65 competitive, hard games from Jimmy Butler, I think this Miami Heat team can be a top 4 team. Because the games that Jimmy Butler doesn't play, you have Jaime Jaquez stepping into his role. And we need Jaime to take that next step. You have Nikola Jovic that's going to step up. You have guys that can take the reins when Jimmy Butler's off a night. Bam is going to take that next level. I said it before and I'll say it again. Bam is the true number 1 option. We need to divert this offense towards Bam. Whether that means him scoring, whether that means him creating for other players, Bam is our guy. I love Tyler Hero. I know Tyler Hero can put the ball in the hoop, but we need Tyler Hero to be the number 3 option. Be that 6th man. I like what Ethan said yesterday. I don't think there's going to be a 20 points per game scorer on this team. You're going to have a lot of guys that any given night can give you 20 to 30. But I think what you're going to see is probably 7 players averaging double figures. That's a great team. That's what we're going to see this year with this Miami Heat team. We are going to see great team basketball led by one of the very best coaches in the NBA, Eric Spoelstra. So if you ask me, you guys, in conclusion, do I think the Miami Heat are going to move Jimmy Butler to the Brooklyn Nets or the Houston Rockets? No. Unless the team sucks during midseason and both sides agreed to a trade. That's the only way it gets done. Does Jimmy Butler leave the Miami Heat after this season? It's 50-50. It's all depending on how far we go. So I want to hear from you, Heat Nation. What do you think about this video from AM Hoops? Do you think it makes sense? Do you think a trade to Brooklyn or Houston actually makes sense? Or do you think like me, no way we trade Jimmy because we're going all in this year, unless we can get a really good deal and the Heat aren't doing that good this year? I want to know what you guys think in the comments. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel as we push for 5,000 subscribers. Thank y'all so much for the continued support. Until next time, your boy Ernest out. That's enough said. Yeah, buddy.